This is the voice of the Lord, your God. There is a whisper in the spirit realm, faint to the human ear but thunderous in heaven's chamber. A name was spoken quietly in a room you've never entered. Not shouted. Not exposed. Just spoken, softly, but with intention. That name was yours. Not your nickname. Not your title. But the full name God gave breath to. And after that whisper, a question was asked: where does this person live? Not out of love. Not out of care. But out of spiritual curiosity, out of intent that heaven noticed immediately. That's when the room in heaven began to shift. That's when Archangel Michael stood. That's when the winds of God moved without sound. Someone is asking about your home. But before anything reaches your door, God is standing on your porch. This is not to frighten you. It is to comfort you. Because while someone is trying to access you through physical means, God is accessing you through divine mercy. Someone thinks your home is just a place on a map, but to God, your home is a sanctuary. A sacred structure built with faith, with tears, with perseverance. Your walls have heard worship when the world only saw war. Your bed has carried prayers that broke chains. Your door has been opened to people who never said thank you. So when someone, out there, begins asking where you live, heaven listens. Not because heaven is afraid, but because heaven is protective. You may not know their face. You may not remember their name. But their question was heard. And before the 2nd of July arrives, God says you must know this: your house is not unguarded. Your name is not exposed. Your peace is not negotiable. Archangel Michael stood in your hallway last night. Not in the way you'd see, but in the way you'd feel, that sudden stillness, that sharp pause in your spirit, that breath you couldn't explain. He was there. He inspected your atmosphere. He looked at the places you passed through without noticing. And he marked every corner with divine boundary. Your home is now a holy ground. Whoever is asking about your address does not understand who they are dealing with. They think they are asking for access, but they are being watched for intention. They think they are moving in secret, but God is ahead of them. He is requesting you to open this now, not because something bad will happen, but because something powerful already has. You might be wondering why now. Why this feeling? Why this sudden urge to clean, to pray, to rearrange even the smallest corner of your home? That's not coincidence. That's obedience manifesting itself in daily choices. God is preparing your home for something divine. Not because a person is coming, but because a presence is about to increase. Before July 2nd, something will shift in the spiritual layout of your house. Conversations will feel different. Rest will come easier. Peace will begin to stretch wide like a morning sun. But first, you need to acknowledge that heaven is hovering. Not watching from above, but walking within. You are not alone. And neither is your home. Someone thought they could trace you through human methods. But God says, before they finish their question, I answer it in the Spirit. They cannot find you where they expect. Because your covering makes you invisible to eyes not led by God. The door they try to knock will not open to manipulation. The information they seek will scatter like wind. And even if they walk by your house, they will not feel peace. Because only those with holy intent are allowed to rest near what heaven calls sacred. God has placed a spiritual lock on your address. A lock that only responds to love, to truth, to purpose. You do not have to fear. You only have to listen. This message is not about the person asking. It's about what God is preparing. He is preparing your house for visitation, not of men, but of miracles. Before the 2nd of July, there is a divine delivery coming to your doorstep. A blessing you didn't request. A breakthrough you forgot you prayed for. It's already been shipped. Already been sealed. Already on its way. But heaven needed you to know that before it arrives, the environment must be right. No clutter of fear. No leftover thoughts from broken conversations. No dust from what they tried to leave behind in your memory. God is cleansing your home with peace. That's why everything suddenly feels slower. Softer. Quieter. Because He is taking His place again. And your daughter? Your son? The ones who live under your roof or carry your blood? They too are being protected by this covering. Because when God marks a house, He marks everyone under its roof. Whether they know Him or not. Whether they pray or not. Whether they believe or not. His grace doesn't ask for perfection, just presence. And you've given Him presence. You've welcomed Him even when you didn't know how to pray the right way. You spoke to Him in broken words, and He answered with unbroken protection. That's why your home is safe. That's why this message had to reach you now. The person asking about your home may still be asking. But their voice is not louder than God's silence. And heaven's silence speaks volumes. It tells the earth where to stop. It tells time when to pause. It tells interference when to back away. Your home is not a location. It's a covenant. And God says He will honor that covenant with His presence. Every plate on your table. Every frame on your wall. Every hallway you walk. All of it, sealed. Consecrated. Hidden in plain sight. This is why you've been waking up at strange hours. This is why your spirit has been extra sensitive. This is why you've been checking your door more than usual. Because even though nothing is wrong, everything is shifting. And that shift is holy. That shift is spiritual. That shift is heaven reminding you, I live here too. You are not just a resident. You are a vessel. And your house is not just a structure. It's a sanctuary. The person who asked about your address didn't realize they were triggering divine protection. And now God is responding, not with punishment, but with presence. Not with exposure, but with elevation. He is lifting your house to a level where only those with holy intent can reach. So open your heart before the 2nd of July. Say yes again. Clean the room you've been ignoring. Light the candle you've been saving. Write the prayer you've been postponing. Because God is ready to visit you in a way you haven't experienced before. And this time, the one knocking at your door will not be a stranger. It will be peace. It will be clarity. It will be joy dressed in familiar laughter. And you will know, this was the message. This was the shift. This was the move of heaven you didn't even know you needed. There are things happening in your home that your eyes cannot explain but your spirit cannot ignore. You've been walking through familiar rooms, yet everything feels unfamiliar. The way the light enters. The stillness in certain corners. The way silence stretches longer than it used to. This is not emptiness. This is spiritual rearrangement. Heaven has entered your address, not with noise, not with interruption, but with sacred pause. Something is being reset. And God is doing it Himself. The message that reached you didn't arrive late. It came at the exact moment when heaven said, they're ready now. Ready to understand what peace really feels like. Ready to let go of what once defined them. Ready to carry the weight of divine instruction. Because what's happening now is not just about someone asking your address, it's about heaven answering with a new assignment for your household. Michael has not left your hallway. His wings are open over every threshold. Not to block you, but to protect what's coming. This is more than protection. This is preparation. Heaven is preparing your home for movement. There's something coming to your door that will not knock with noise, but enter with knowing. You will feel it in the way your atmosphere clears. In the way anxiety fades. In the way your thoughts begin to speak softer and your emotions begin to stop fighting. God is placing His Spirit on your walls. Like paint that cannot be erased. Like fragrance that lingers after the wind leaves. What's happening is invisible, but it's permanent. The person who asked about your location does not realize what they triggered. They thought they were being curious. Or strategic. Or simply exploring. But in the spirit, their question sent a signal. And God intercepted it before it could be misused. You didn't hear it. But Michael did. And when he heard it, he stood tall and said, "Not this house. Not this soul. Not this season. Because your home is not where fear reigns. It's where God resides. Every chair you sit in is marked by your survival. Every prayer you whispered when no one was listening became a shield. And now those shields are active. You've been sensing something. A pull. A pause. A pressure. It's not oppression. It's awareness. Your spirit knows something sacred is moving through your space. Your routine has felt interrupted. But that interruption is divine. God is calling you back to stillness. He's turning off the noise so you can hear again. Because before the 2nd of July, something will visit you that requires your full attention. A presence. A revelation. A peace that will not come through explanation, but through stillness. You'll hear it in the wind. You'll sense it in your dreams. You'll notice it in the way the rooms feel bigger, softer, more alive. That's not imagination. That's heaven touching the blueprint of your house. And your name, the one that was whispered in curiosity, is now wrapped in God's voice. No one can mention it without triggering divine attention. You are not in hiding. You are in covering. You are not invisible. You are guarded. And anyone who tries to find you through flesh will find themselves walking in circles. Because only those with pure intent will be allowed near your threshold. This is not a punishment. This is preservation. You carry too much purpose. Your house holds too much promise. And God has waited long enough. Now He is moving in. Your family is changing. Even if slowly. Even if quietly. Someone in your house is starting to feel softer. More open. More curious about peace. That's not just growth. That's grace. That's the presence of God working in silence. Even your children, if they've been distant, distracted, heavy, you'll notice they begin to laugh more. Sleep better. Talk deeper. They may not even understand why. But you will. Because you've been sensing it too. God is not visiting just to pass by. He is establishing His home inside your home. And that shift will change everything. There is an object in your house that you've been walking past every day. A picture. A notebook. A piece of clothing. And suddenly, it feels like it holds meaning again. That's God highlighting what He's about to heal. Don't rush past it. Sit with it. Let the tears fall if they come. Because every tear is watering the soil where new miracles will grow. Your house is becoming fertile ground. And even the things you thought were lost, relationships, finances, ideas, they are about to bloom again inside your own walls. You may feel emotional for no reason. Let it happen. That's your soul exhaling. That's heaven touching the hidden places. That's God saying, I remember everything they thought I forgot. The reason this message reached you now is because heaven is on a deadline. Not in panic, but in precision. Something will unlock before the 2nd of July. A window. A knowing. A blessing that needed your home to be in order. And now that it is, the delivery is on its way. You are not just being warned. You are being invited into deeper peace, into greater clarity, into stillness so sacred that no outside noise can disturb it. This is your moment. This is your house. This is your time. And God, not man, is the one standing at your door. Your house is not just a shelter. It's a witness. A living witness of how many nights you sat in silence, praying for peace without knowing the right words. How many times you laid on that bed, not knowing if joy would ever come back to these walls. And yet, you stayed. You remained faithful even when everything around you felt broken. That faith didn't go unnoticed. The ceiling heard your whispers. The windows carried your hope. The floor held the weight of your prayers. So now, when someone speaks your name and begins asking about your address, heaven does not remain silent. Because what is inside your home is not ordinary. It is sacred. It is wrapped in God's voice. And He will not allow anyone with false intentions to step near what He Himself has built with love. God is not responding in fear. He is moving with purpose. What's happening now is not because of the one asking about your home. It's because of the one who lives there, you. You, the one who held on even when others let go. You, the one who never let bitterness enter your front door. You, the one who forgave silently, wept privately, and gave thanks when there was barely enough to survive. That kind of heart draws heaven closer. And God is not only guarding you, He's rewarding you. Before the 2nd of July, something will shift in the structure of your life. Not just spiritually. Tangibly. A conversation. A message. A door. Something is coming, and it is holy. Michael is already stationed by your entryway. Every time you feel like checking the lock again, every time you feel that gentle tug to pause at your door before leaving, that is not paranoia. That is presence. That is your spirit recognizing that the line between earth and heaven is thin right now. And the divine is walking through your hallway like a gentle breeze. You might begin to notice how people speak differently when they step inside. How even those who were once sharp begin to soften. That's the sign. Your home has become holy ground. Not just because of protection, but because of preparation. Someone may still be trying to locate you. They may be thinking about you. They may be asking questions in places you'll never hear. But their words are not louder than God's command. Their curiosity is not stronger than God's covering. You don't need to fear what they want, because what God has already written will override every plan they try to make. No one can block what heaven has blessed. No one can step into what heaven has sealed. And your address, though visible on maps, is invisible to those without divine permission. And now, God is whispering something rare. Something gentle. He's saying, get ready to welcome the new. Because this isn't just about keeping someone out, it's about inviting something in. Heaven is preparing your home to receive joy again. Real joy. The kind that doesn't depend on who comes and goes. The kind that doesn't fade when the phone doesn't ring. The kind that remains even when you're alone. Your laughter is about to return. Not the polite laugh. The deep, belly laugh that only comes when your soul feels safe. Even your furniture will begin to feel different. You'll sit in places that once felt empty and suddenly feel warmth. You'll wake up and the light through your windows will look brighter. That's not the weather. That's the spirit. You may find yourself cleaning out old corners, rearranging rooms, lighting candles without knowing why. It's all divine. It's all sacred. God is preparing your home for visitation. Not of strangers, but of sacred timing. Sacred moments. Sacred peace. There is a rhythm forming in your space. A pulse of heaven saying, get ready. I'm coming with something better than what you lost. If anyone ever doubted your worth, if anyone walked away not understanding the depth of your loyalty, your love, your patience, heaven didn't miss it. Heaven saw every moment. And now heaven is repaying in ways that will make you cry, not from pain, but from awe. From July 2nd onward, you will feel a holy wind pass through your home. It won't be loud, but it will leave things rearranged. Some conversations will shift. Some people will disappear without conflict. Some new connections will appear unexpectedly. That's the pattern of divine change. And it's not your job to force it, only to receive it. The one who tried to locate you will not understand why they can't. Their access has been revoked without your permission. Heaven did it for you. And the more they search, the more invisible you will become to them. Because your life is now hidden in the sacred. They may have asked about your address, but God readdressed your destiny. You've moved, not physically, but spiritually. You've shifted from accessible to anointed. From visible to protected. From targeted to treasured. And this is not just about now. It's about the future. What's coming for you is too big to be placed in unsafe spaces. That's why God is setting the house in order. That's why you've been feeling the urge to spend time alone. That's why your sleep is being interrupted with sudden peace. That's why your body feels like it's recovering from a battle you didn't even realize you were fighting. It's because heaven was fighting for you. And now that the battle is won, peace is moving in. Your home will reflect it. Your soul will echo it. Your face will carry it. And when people see you, they won't understand what changed. But you will. You'll know that God Himself stopped everything just to make sure you were covered, clean, and ready. Ready for joy. Ready for visitation. Ready for something sacred. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of the part that finally makes sense. There are moments when heaven does not send a storm, but a silence so sacred it feels like time has paused to listen. That is what happened in your home last night. You didn't see it. You may not have heard it. But something changed in the air. The floor beneath you became holy. The ceiling above you became a canopy of divine presence. And in the Spirit, angels entered, not with loud footsteps, but with reverent purpose. They came not to warn, not to war, but to sit, to dwell, to cover. And Archangel Michael led them with eyes fixed on the rooms you rarely pray in. The places you walk through without thought. The places where emotion once lived but slowly faded. Last night, the silence was not emptiness. It was occupation. Divine occupation. A claiming of space. A resetting of energy. A sealing of the sacred. Michael stood near your doorway, looked at what heaven had already prepared, and nodded. It was enough. The presence in your home was heavy, not with fear, but with fulfillment. The angels didn't speak. They waited. Because what was coming to your home didn't need to be spoken yet. It needed to be welcomed. And God chose to prepare you in stillness, not sermons. He came like oil, not thunder. They sat in your home and remembered your tears. The ones that fell years ago. The ones no one asked about. The ones you wiped quickly because life had to move on. They remembered your silence when you wanted to scream. Your kindness when you had every right to walk away. They reviewed the moments where you could have taken revenge, but chose release. And for all of that, they said nothing. Because the reward is already on the way. This is not your harvest season. This is your holy visitation. The season where blessings come quietly, walk through your front door, and stay. Not just visit. Stay.